was in the Surf Girl in 1955. It was just something that happened on the beach, and the lifesavers picked you out and said, would you like to go in the competition? We walked on we were helped up by two lifesavers, and we went along two planks that rocked and rolled all the way, so it was quite amusing really, but we were very young then, so we could do it really well. We didn't have to do anything after that, nothing for the lifesavers. As far as fundraising, there was no fundraising, so it was just a really fun thing to do. Gave me that day to present to Phil Johns for my prize of a bathing costume, Jansen, to be selected from Phil Johns for 8 guineas, which was a lot of money then. Yes.
And is that the pair that you got, or is?
No, this was the pair I got.
I did the Surf Girl in 1986 and then returned and did it in 1988. So this is the article they did in the paper about Mum and I in the Surf Girl, just comparing the two eras in the 1950s and the 1980s. Quite a bit of difference in the swimsuit.
Jill and I, when I first won it, and it was in the paper, so it was really special to think that she was doing it then. And she did so well in the competition, and I was really proud of her, and she worked very, very hard, I can tell you.
And probably at the time, I didn't know how significant, but now, when I'm 50 years of age, I'm really proud. The second year that I was involved in it created a bit more interest in lifesaving. It was purely a beauty contest the first year I went in it, but the second year they started to get more of the lifesaving side of it involved, and I did my bronze medallion and got more involved in promoting surf lifesaving and being an ambassador for the club. It's funny what I've put. She enjoys fundraising and watching surf carnivals. I didn't have much other hobbies, did I? So it mentions there about you were 16 when you were entering in you were too young to enter into the state one.
Yes, the Surf Girl.
Yeah, so you had to be 17 to enter into the state one, so Mum couldn't go into that. So if that was 30 years ago
I went in it, but
you went
I
in
told them that I wasn't old enough. They said, that's all right, we won't pick you.
Oh,
they picked me
so you went in it but you lied.
As a finalist, that was the funny part.
Oh, okay.
But I knew I couldn't win it. Yeah. Oh, yes. I must have been a bit brazen then.
You must have been. The first year that I did it, it was a lot of fun, a lot of fundraising. I had a great committee who helped me because I was very naive to the movement as well. But the second year that I did it, we were much more proactive, and we had a lot of fundraising events, including lots of street stalls that Mum did a lot of baking for, and I don't know how many Viennese cookies and scones and pavlovas that she made for it, but we did a lot of that. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Christmas time, we used to do 100 Christmas cakes and plum puddings, and
we used to sell stacks though, so much. I don't know how much we made each week. That was weekly. We used to do that.
We did really well. It was well over like $500 or $600.
Yeah, that was in the main street of Caloundra.
So it takes a lot of...
So we had lots of functions, and one of them we had organised away from the club, and it was at the Junior Rugby League, because we weren't allowed to have a lot of functions at the club because it wasn't operating as it is now as a fully functioning licensed club. So we had it at the Junior Rugby League, and we had a band and everything set up, and we thought we'd had lots of people coming, and I think only 8 people came, which is a little disappointing, but all of us committee people had a great time. And but that was part, we can look back on that and laugh, and it was all just part of it.
And I think we made money.
We still broke even, I think. So this was the band we hired at the Country and Western Dance, and the article we had in the paper, and it was only $5 a head to go, and we still couldn't get people there.
I might add, I still have that costume.
Do we?
I still have that in
Oh my
cupboard.
goodness, yeah, Mum made me this costume. So we had a week down at Jupiter's Casino, which was pretty exciting in the day, and which was all meals provided, all accommodation. You went to functions and you were judged the whole week by various judges, Wally Lewis being one of them, and Trevor Hendy, and you were judged on evening wear, swimwear and day wear. There was 32 girls all dressed up to the nines and having a great time, which culminated in an evening that was televised, that went on Queensland television, which was very exciting in the day, and everyone got to watch it, and you really felt that the club was really proud of what you had achieved for that year, and I felt very supported by the club. They all travelled to the casino to visit, you know, to cheer you on, and we had, I think nearly 60 people come down from the club, which was wonderful. So it was pretty exciting. When I came second in the Queensland one, they won a surf rescue board and swimwear for all the club members, or a certain amount of swimwear. First prize was a rubber duck for the club. The club did benefit as well as the money. They got other things from prize money, and just promoting the club in general. There's only 2 clubs in Caloundra at the time, and I don't think the other club had a surf girl, but I'm not sure about that. But yeah, you're always promoting the club, and you always felt like you were representing the club when you were out and about. I think the motivation of me doing the second one was that I did it the first time. I think I could do better the next time. So we raised a lot. I think we tripled what we originally, but first time we went in it, we raised $20,000, and I think we sort of nearly got up, it was around the 50,000 or 58,000. So that was the challenge for me the second time, to do better. Not necessarily for myself, but for the club to raise money.
The fundraising activities that you had in your day are far different to today, much simpler, much less sophisticated. Just like this, it was divided into 100 squares. You bought a square for $1 and the prize was $50. So on each money board we'd make $50, which seems like a small amount these days, but every dollar counted and it all added up.
And I think we did one every Friday night, so that we were doing it regularly, so it did add up over quite a few weeks. I was always a fairly confident girl, but obviously it did help me I went on to own my own business, and the networking that it created amongst the community. I felt very supported in my business from all of the surf club community. So I think that did definitely help me, and I've lived here ever since that time and never moved away, and have run a business. So, and I think some of those people are still coming to me in my business, which I think is very lovely. Thanks, Enid.
And Mum.
I was surf girl in the 1982-83 surf season. I was approached by a member of the club, asked me if I would like to represent North Caloundra, as we were known back then, and I was really honoured to be asked. I had been coming up to North Caloundra since I was about 17 years of age, and so that it was about 5 years, and staying at the Dicky Beach Surf Club during the summer. And so I felt like I was a really big part of the club anyway, and I was just really honoured to be asked, and I really wanted to help out in some way. I felt being an ambassador meant that I should promote my local club, North Caloundra, and I did. I think I was a fairly good representative of that. It also meant that I was going to get involved in fundraising, because I also knew that the club required a lot of surf rescue equipment, and we were in need of that. So I wanted to put a good effort into helping raise funds, but also I saw it as an opportunity to get involved in the wider community beyond the Surf Life Saving Club, and find ways in which to involve others from Caloundra and beyond in our events. Some of the events that I helped organise were fashion parades. We had disco nights here. We had drinks, barbecues on Sunday afternoons after the patrol had finished. I think one of my favourite nights was typically 80s. It was called Shaz's Naughty Nighty Night, and it was held at the Pearl Hotel in Caloundra, and that was a favourite haunt of a lot of lifesavers then, and we got a really good roll-up. It was swimwear and lingerie is what it really was, but it was a lot of fun. One of our biggest events that we held was called the Treasure Hunt, and it was like a beach dig, and it was something that my dad gave me the idea to do, and I sort of took it to the committee. They loved the idea, and it sort of evolved from this one idea about a treasure hunt, and we ended up having a day where the Westpac helicopter came in. It was the 27th of December, so 2 days after Christmas. The caravan park was full, lots of people around, and we had this surf awareness with the helicopter coming in close and showing how they rescue. And then I organised the dig. Then we had a barbecue afterwards and showed people, did tours through the club facilities, which was great. The dig in itself was quite unique. This is where we were able to involve the business community of Caloundra. So we went out and we door knocked businesses, let them know what we were doing, that we wanted them to donate prizes to us, and we found that the business community of Caloundra was very generous. We ended up coming back with $1,000 worth of prizes. That's a lot of money back in the early 80s, and we then corresponded those prizes to, we had discs made and a number put on each disc. So we split the prizes up to 100 prizes, and each disc corresponded. At 2 o'clock in the morning, the boys roped off before the 27th. They roped off an area in front of the club here, down on the beach, and buried the 100 discs. We then sold miners' rights to anyone who wanted to come and dig, and we had 350 people buy miners' rights, and got a fantastic photo of the amount of people that are on the beach digging up these discs, and then they'd come along up to the tent and they'd receive a prize in handing in their disc. It was great. It was a lot of fun. Metal detectors had to be brought in because we couldn't find a couple, and we needed to have all the discs ready in case we're going to run it next year, of which we did. So they found the discs for us, and it's an event that was run for quite a few years, a successful event. So yeah, people don't know committees, but you put a face on a committee and they go, oh yeah, that's, for me it was my era, there's Sonia, and that was your time to represent the committee to the club and beyond for fundraising. So it's like I think it helps drive the fundraising by having a face that's recognisable, because the club makes sure that you're recognised. They get behind you in that way. When I was asked to be surf girl, it was always, in the past, they'd only raise just the entry fee to enter. Myself and my committee thought that, well, let's just see how far we can go with this. And we did, and we ended up raising over $5,200. So going from, I'm not sure how much it cost to actually just enter, but I know we went way beyond that, and that felt really good to be able to present that amount of money to North Caloundra. And to put that into today's perspective, that's the cost of a half a block of land back then. So that, when I put it like that, I think, yeah, we did okay. We did really good. $5,200 was a lot of money. My fondest memory of being Miss Surf Girl for North Caloundra was the people that I got to meet and work alongside of. And one of the families here, because I was from Brisbane, one of the families said, well, we can't have our surf girls sleeping in a tent, come and stay with us. So they became another family for me. And just the camaraderie that I experienced in the club at another level. I was supported by all members of the club, not just people who were sort of close to me. And I've always felt, I saw that there was no generation gap. It was amazing just how people would come together just to get involved, support. Nothing was too much to ask of people, and the generosity that I experienced from the people here in the club, and as I said, in the wider community, was amazing. It was wonderful. I spoke about the getting involved in the wider community. Another part of that is with our sponsors. We had some incredible sponsors at the time. Again, the generosity. The Pearl Hotel was owned by Les and Daphne G's, and for one of my events, I talked about the Shazza Naughty Nighty Night. They let me have the venue for free, which was such a big help. Les and Daphne have had a long-standing relationship with the surf club, and during my year as Miss North Caloundra, Les and Daphne had donated a surfboat, a brand new surfboat. There is a photo of me sitting on that boat as it's being handed over to North Caloundra. Representing North Caloundra and being an ambassador for them put me into areas that I wouldn't normally be in, and that was public speaking. Being able to, I think it built a confidence in me that has carried me through life. Again, I just think it's the long-term friendships. It's like you feel like you're meeting old friends if you come up here and there's people that haven't been around in the club for a long time, and we're dining here, and it's just like meeting old family, and it's great. You just pick up where you left off with the conversations, and that continually happens here. Having such a wonderful facility as we do here today, people come here for for dinner and for functions, and it's great. It's great catching up with old friends.
I was the surf girl for 1987 for Dicky Beach. I was the Miss North Caloundra in 1986 to go on for the 1987 Surf Girl Quest. I went on to become Miss Surf Appeal. Now there's the flowers. I must have got the champagne after the flowers. The swimwear gives you an idea, but it was the 80s. Oh yeah, here we go. I think back in those days, I had, for the judging, sequence black, and for the evening, sequin white with matching shoes. That's the old Hanamex camera back in the day. Didn't take any sterling photos, but gives you a rough idea. Ended up in one of the runners up, or the final 7, I guess you'd call it, was Crown Miss Surf Appeal, which is the fundraising side of things. I made a record amount of $35,361.40, which was huge for its time when you consider a house was probably $60,000. I think that, I don't know about all the other girls, but for me it was like winning lotto. The night of the quest, so you got to remember, I guess 19 years old, just turning, not quite 19, yeah, I don't think I was quite 19. I was approached that evening after the actual Surf Girl Quest at Jupiter's Casino and offered a position as a flight attendant with Ansett Australia, which was extremely difficult to get into those days, and I was too young. So I became the youngest flight attendant, which was kind of cool. I got offered 2 modelling contracts the next day, and the prizes were fantastic. So for a young girl, I got a return round the world ticket. I went to America, jewellery, and the status that was, to get into some of these higher profile jobs, like even flying and that, most girls had a title behind them. So I know it sounds sexist and all that now, but that's the way it was. And so yeah, it opened doors. Bikini car washes, which were big in the day. Beach digs on the coast here at Dicky Beach. I had one Halloween party at Brothers Leagues Club in Brisbane. Discos, yep. I remember we had quite a few little ones, and they'd pay, I think it was the Sunday night disco. I couldn't always attend those because I worked in Brisbane, but we had a really huge one at New Year's Eve, and it was a fancy dress, and I do remember some really hilarious costumes. I think in those days everyone gave it their all, so it was just hilarious what people came dressed up as. The big one though for me was the Ford car. It was a laser, if I recall, a white laser. That was a big raffle where you bought a $200 ticket, and there was a multitude of prizes, but not a lot of entries. There was 100 tickets, and I think they got a smorgasbord dinner or something, and you know, it was quite big. So that was a great fundraiser, if I remember correctly. I was lucky because I did work for the airline. I got quite a few return trips to Sydney, and things like that, which was big for the day. But no, it was constant. I'd say most weekends, or at least one big event a month. But the committee behind me, I think Enid was the push. You know, you were fantastic with that because I was living in Brisbane, and yeah, but no, it was a busy time. I don't know how I did it then when you look back. Surfing events, club events, just to be a representation, you know, hand over prizes at big surf carnivals. I do recall even one at Maroochydore. Just being the face of the club, really. I remember when, bless his cotton socks, Trent Halliday, who's not with us anymore, he'd just come as an Ironman to our club, and it was a big, you know, it was a big deal for North Caloundra to have him. And you know, there was photos in the paper with him, and yeah, I guess just being the face of the club. Look, things have changed so much. I mean, my era of doing this was, you know, the beauty pageant comes into the money. It wasn't so much how involved you were with lifesaving, even though I was an active lifesaver. It was more about looks. Whereas now times have changed. It's an individual. It's to do with outside, sporty, fundraising, active roles in the community with your surf lifesaving. So I can't see how that would be a bad thing at all. So I'd be saying, don't worry, it's not going to be like my day because times have changed.
My year of surf girl was 1990, correct? 92, yes, 92. I became the surf girl after being asked by Enid, who had known me for quite some time, as I started with the club as a junior, as a nipper, back in 1982, which we think was about the time of the first lot of girls that came into the surf club movement with the surf club here at Dicky Beach. And obviously just knowing my commitment through the club and my rise through the surf club ranks as then into a senior surf lifesaver. One day Enid approached us and said, would you consider continuing on your ambassadorship of the club as a surf girl? And that's how it all started, and it steamrolled from there. So my involvement was, when I became surf girl and when Enid asked me to take on the role, it was part of a change that was going on in the surf lifesaving movement with the surf girl, where they more embodied the title of summer surf girl, where the girls that they were promoting were more, it was going away from the line of being so much a beauty pageant to involving the girls that could be an ambassador for the surf lifesaving movement and their clubs, and also typified the girls that was outdoor activities, you know, I suppose still the bronzed girls, but the ones that were involved in the movement. And so I was the first of that lot to go through. In my year, in 1992, I was the first representative of Dicky Beach Surf Club to win the Summer Surf Girl title. I had predecessors that had done very well in the fundraising stakes, but I embodied what they were looking for as an ambassador and the girl who was involved with the club and typified the outdoor activity lifestyle. I was very privileged to be it, and I must admit, very overwhelmed. Something that I did not expect at all. Obviously a very big honour, and through my reigning year I attended a lot of functions promoting both the surf club and the surf lifesaving movement. I helped the girls that were in their following year and with their fundraising activities and encouraging them in different directions as to what they can do to act as an ambassador for their clubs. And then of course attended the big gala at the end of it. We did a lot of door knocking. The Summer Surf Girl Appeal, where we went down to Brisbane. We took a couple of buses down of club members. We all went down there and door knocked through Strathpine, I think it was, back in those days. There was a lot of raffle tickets selling down at the flea market with my best friends. And we had different fundraisers such as fashion parades, barbecues. I think there was a little bit of money raised from the discos and so forth, continuing on from the previous girls. But mainly a lot of raffle ticket sales in my years, because we were heavily supported by the surf lifesaving movement as a governing body, and so there was a lot of fundraising tickets provided by them, with the funds going all towards our fundraising. It's probably not something that I wear almost a little bit embarrassed now, because I think people think that they look at me and go, they just assume that it was a beauty pageant. And I'm not that typical type of beauty pageant type girl. I was in it for being a member of the surf club. For me, it's still very much, and I try to explain to people that I embodied all outdoor activities. I just loved the beach. I loved being involved on the beach. I loved being part of the surf life saving movement. I can honestly say that, you know, my best years of my life was being a nipper for starters, and then moving up into the senior ranks. And it was only when obviously work and other sporting activities get in the way that the surf life saving movement, I moved away from that. But in actual fact, just being down here every Sunday as a nipper, all day, going to surf life saving carnivals, and even continuing competing in the senior ranks as a cadet, every child needs to embody that at some point in time in their life if they can. It is a wonderful movement. There was a major fundraising activity that took place, and the winner of that got to name the new surf craft that was being delivered. And of course, I was there for the unveiling of the boat as part of my duties. And one of our old boys of the club won it, and he decided to name the boat Chris P, because my last name was Payette at the time. And so, yeah, it's Chris P, and it went on to win a few races. And after that, I think it was hung on the wall as a bit of memorabilia for the club. A lot of people wouldn't realise what the Chris P represented, I suppose, unless you're in the club and had in the know. But yes, that was part of one of the sponsorship drives. And of course, we also had one of my major supporters of my fundraising team was Linda Britton, whose husband was the dealer owner at Pacific Ford. And so he was also one of our major sponsors. So part of my prize, of course it's not all about me, it's about the club too. I was very fortunate to win some wonderful prizes. I did win a brand new Ford Laser, I won some luggage, I won a holiday, 72 pairs of stockings, which, let me assure you, a typical outdoor girl does not wear a lot of. So I can assure you that all of my girlfriends were very well supplied for all their weddings for many years to come with stockings. So thank you very much, Surf Life Saving Queensland. Apart from what I obviously won for myself, there was also the prizes that came for the club, which included an IRB. We won some rescue equipment, including tubes and boards, I believe, at the time. And I'm pretty sure there were some other less bulky items that came along too. But it was well worth the investment that the club had put into me, for me not only to win obviously some wonderful prizes, but they got the kickback of the money they raised as well as... So yes, our understanding is that the bulk of the money does come back to the club, but there was also a lot of money invested in us while we were down there preparing. They made a really big deal of the year that I was down there. We had a full week of filming. We had a full week down the Gold Coast where we made a film clip of all things to the song Cherish by Madonna. And to this day, every time I hear that song, my head just wants to blow. But and they made it was a whole show. It was not just about filming the presentation or anything like that. It was a full 1 hour, 1.5 hour show that was televised on the following day. So there was a lot of money invested in us in preparing that. And I think that was all involved in promoting the whole surf life saving experience. You know, it was kind of there was a section in there of being like a mini Bondi rescue, so they were filming surf life savers actually doing the real job. And then there was the fun side of things of girls being involved down the beach and how we were then involved in the promotion of surf life saving. So that was a big fun week for us, just to let our hair down after all of the many months of fundraising.
Dicky Beach has been part of my life since I was about 9 years old. So I've grown up nippers, competing, coaching. So it was a way for me to give back to the surf club that had given me so much. My name's Caitlin Tunstead. When I did Surf Girl, I was Caitlin Knight then. I was surf girl in the 2013-2014 season. A member of the surf club actually asked me if I wanted to be the surf girl for Dicky Beach. I think some members of the club can invite you, or you can ask to be the surf girl for the club. To me, being the surf girl for Dicky Beach, it was an honour to promote the surf club and surf lifesaving. It's sort of part of who I am. So I've been involved in surf lifesaving since I was 9 years old. So I started out as a nipper. I've competed in surf rescue. I've been involved in development camps, IRB racing, surf sports, surf boats. I've been a patrol captain since I was 17 years old. So that would make it about 15 years as a patrol captain. And I've been involved in committees at the surf club and been involved with the nippers. I think it definitely helped being involved in the surf club for so long. As my year as surf girl, you just had the support of everyone from nippers, because you grow up with people in the surf club and the same families are there to help you out. So the role of the Jupiter Summer Surf Girl was to be an ambassador for your club and for surf lifesaving, to promote women in surf lifesaving. It's a chance to sort of grow and mature as a person, like self-development and community awareness, so going out into the community, teaching kids surf skills and surf awareness, and fundraising. Fundraising is a big part of Surf Girl. Throughout my year as Surf Girl, we did raffles every Saturday, we did tin collections, we had a golf day, we had a casino night, Dick Vegas. There was just almost an event. It felt like an event every weekend, but I was so lucky I had the support of the whole surf club. It was great. So Surf Girl, it can bring a surf club together. So everyone from the nippers to the supporters club to the senior members, everyone gets involved, and it's just a great club atmosphere. The money that you raise as Surf Girl, use for training equipment for the surf club. So when I was the Dicky Beach Jupiter Summer Surf Girl, I was the overall winner, and I also raised the highest amount of money, $128,000. It took a whole club to raise that amount of money. I had a committee, I think there was about 10 people on that committee, and without them I would not have made it through at the end of the year. Surf Girl, it takes up your whole life as that year. Just weekends with functions, training through the week. Like I live on the Sunshine Coast, and I would drive to the Gold Coast, to Brisbane and back to the Sunshine Coast in one day, just for an event for Surf Girl and promoting surf lifesaving. During the year that I was Surf Girl, I lived with a family from the surf club, and they're also heavily involved with the surf club, Robin and Rob Campbell. And I was so lucky and fortunate to live with them. Without people in the surf club like Rob Campbell, who are there to mentor you and encourage you, and sort of he just knows the right words, because it is an exhausting year being Surf Girl. So the amount of opportunities that evolve from being the Surf Girl, you just wouldn't get them as if you weren't a Surf Girl. It's an honour to be a Surf Girl. I spoke at Parliament House about surf lifesaving. I think as being involved in surf lifesaving for so long, you meet different areas of people that work in different areas of surf lifesaving, and then it's sort of, they just ask you to do these little promos. So then they just said, oh, come down to the beach, we'll take some photos, and next minute you're up at the airport or at the train station. So it's pretty cool. My goal was one goal, one club. So just bringing the whole club together. So at events you'd see nipper parents or nippers there, and older members from the club and they're all there, all together having a good time, just supporting you. And when a surf club has a Surf Girl, just the atmosphere of the surf club it's different, it's amazing. I found it as well, I think being involved in surf lifesaving for so long, and Dicky Beach Surf Club, at the gala I had 10 tables full, and there was about 600 people at the gala. So, and I was so lucky, like down like the catwalk, Dicky Beach were all along the front. So when they called out my name that I'd won, it was Dicky Beach. It just erupted, and the whole room erupted. It was just like, I've got goosebumps. It was just amazing. Like, you don't do it to win it, you do it for your club, but to win it's just an extra little bonus, and you earn a little bit more money for your club as well, a bit more training gear. The girls that I did Surf Girl with, the other entrants, you become lifelong friends with them as well. Advice I would give anyone who wants to be a surf girl would just give it a go. It's an amazing experience. You'll make heaps of friends, you'll learn a lot from it, you'll grow as a person, and yeah, just a great way to promote surf lifesaving.